Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways. We're Laff and I back here in the studio, and you look a bit bleary-eyed. Were you watching soccer last night?
I watched a little bit. I see the Portuguese burgled an equaliser. The Yanks were nearly clean through, but the tournament's picking up very, very nicely. A lot of teams have gone home, and there's an offer. You can buy a big bus very cheaply. It's only been used twice, not much mileage. It's England coach.
Yeah.
They're selling it cheaply. If anyone wants to buy a big coach.
Well, you can buy two coaches, apparently.
Yes, the Spanish one?
Two coaches and another two coaches as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Hodgson's is one guy's name and some other guy from Spain.
Yeah.
You can buy all the coaches
yeah.
you like there.
Yeah, England got a new captain, you know it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian Rogers, new captain of England. He flew them home in the plane.
Yeah.
That's him.
Interestingly enough, talking about soccer, Friday you got a big party here. Isn't it Clivey Barker's
Thursday.
birthday? Thursday?
70th.
John Barnes coming down?
John Barnes coming into town. Yeah, Robbie Dolithan's bringing a whole group of guys from Joburg and Johnny Louch. It's Clive Barker, who won the African Cup of Nations with Bafana. He turned 70. You wouldn't think so. He looks well.
I'm a bit mild because I never got an invite.
But you're not 70.
Doesn't matter. I'm nearly there. Let's move on and go and see our three to follow. Right, well, we don't often go to the middle of winter turfentine, but Mike de Kock stepped out. Quite a nice flying spur colt. He certainly needed the experience, and I think that he'll go on and win his next start. Certainly looks like a nice horse. Let's go and have a look at turfentine, and the horse we picked up is a Tab.
Yeah, it's a filly, and it's a flying spur filly, and flying spur is one of the best broodmare sires in Australia. So this horse, as you can see, is drawn on the outside in Sheikh Hamdan's colours. And it has a lot to do just to get over from the draw. It looked like quite a useful race. There were a couple of horses supported, and it runs a very good race in its debut, even though it's wide now.
Well, it's wide now and trying to get in, and certainly completely loses its position in the race, turning into the straight, because the winner, Princess Tanton, comes from way behind it and runs right past it, and then only the penny starts dropping there.
Yeah, the runner-up sets self home, runs a very good race. And as you say, the winner is on the right of your screen with the red sleeves now. This is Waishong Mowing riding for Mr. Janssen van Vuren. And this one's a very good race, this Australian import. But the horse we've found has been scrubbed to hold his position in second to go after the leader. And the winner comes past and he picks it up.
Yeah, the winner goes past right now and going to win easily. The leader's clear, but they haul it in. And this filly doesn't know what's going on. Van Rensburg then gets a stick in his left hand.
You mean Waishong?
No, the third horse.
Oh, the jockey.
Yeah, Van Rensburg. They're all jockeys. And Mowing's in front, cruising, showing that he can even ride the winners in the winter in Johannesburg, having been in Hong Kong all his life. But I think a Tab will improve quite a lot from that run. Right, we go now to KwaZulu-Natal. We go to the first race. It was a 1,200 metres. There was a 2-year-old at Duncan Houses, looked like a good thing. The second filly looked quite good.
Yeah, there was an early morning support for this trip. He owned by Klavervlei and bred by Klavervlei, and it's called Polar Trip. It runs a very good race behind Same Jurisdiction, who turned out to be the right horse.
Yeah, let's go and pick them up there. There it is, towards the outside in the white Klavervlei colours, falls out the pens, and she's right in behind them now. She's 3 off the left, and now behind the 2 in front of her on the left-hand side.
Behind you.
Behind him. So Same Jurisdiction shows plenty of pace in the race. Stormy Cat runs quite a good race as well. She looks like she's pretty close to being ready to win. But the favourite, Same Jurisdiction, they never stop putting the money on this, Kevin Shea.
You
right
can see it in
the
second,
vanguard.
right there.
In the Van Schalkwyk colours and the pink colours. And following it, Polar Trip. Yeah. And they move out for a run together, but the winner gets first run on Polar Trip. Sean Cormack doesn't ride often for.
This is a very good day. Polar Trip wins a tad, not Polar Trip, Same Jurisdiction wins a tad cosily. It comes to front here under Kevin, but Polar Trip had walked out the gates, puts in a bold effort for a debut run, and this trippy you can follow soon. The winner's let down close to the home, so it might be flattering to runner up, but I thought it was a sparkling debut.
Well, nice hands and heels ride, just got the hang of what's going on in second place, and she'd probably be able to go on and win her next start over a similar type of trip. We move on to the same day, race 4. They went 14.50. Now, this juvenile was rumoured to be a really hot juvenile. He's entered for the Golden Horse on July Day, and he might end up running in the Golden Horse. They talk a lot about him, but he got upstaged by another Jetmaster. He's by Jetmaster, another Jetmaster upstaged him. The two of them are worth following. Although we picked up the second horse, we think they're both very, very nice horses. Let's go and pick up the start of this 1400-metre juvenile plate.
There it is down the inside. It's a horse called Jayed. It's a little sluggish at the gate, having his debut run with Anthony Delpesh, and Jayed gets scrubbed along. It runs second, as James says, to Miljet, who looks a very, very nice horse. Michael Leaf's horse debuting as well. So the two debutants run 1 and 2, beating Nisa's Machine, who looked the form horse.
Well, Nisa's Machine had run third in the Gatecrasher behind Florrie's Waltz. Florrie's Waltz gone overseas, and they think she's pretty good. He's pretty good. And this horse was rumoured to be up there with them. He's in third place, but look at the horse that's third last with the red cap. That's the winner, ML Jet, Michael Leaf's Jet, owned by Michael Leaf. And ML Jet is now third last and way behind Jayed. Jayed goes up the inside, ML Jet comes up the outside. Yeah. These are two very, very nice horses.
Two very nice horses, both green, both not knowing too much about racing. And Anthony's at this horse. He's got him covered up, and now he gives him a clear run up the middle of the track, inside to middle. And on the outside now, ML Jet is really starting to put it together.
Well, this is stakes form. Lisa's Machine was backed into odds on. They thought he was a good thing in the race. And ML Jet sails past him, and Jayed runs past him too. They both go together here, but ML Jet's just got the better of him. He looks like a very, very nice horse. Both Jetmasters, very interesting. The last crop of Jetmasters,
yeah,
my goodness,
Jetmaster, fantastic stallion. And the older they get, the better they get, these Jetmasters. So well done to both those guys. But keep an eye on Jayed, because it's still going to have a crack at the maidens.
Yeah, we think that those 3 to follow, certainly worth having a close look at. Let's go and have a look at the blast from the past. And we're going to look at the Vodacom Durban July from 2012. The winner is Pomodoro. He looks very borderline this year to get in the race. We'll chat about him winning the race, and we'll chat about the July log after that.
Set. 20 warriors set free to do battle in the Vodacom Durban July. Let's see how they play their cards. Jackson looking to overcome early. He's in the blue sleeves and cap. Beach Beauty's there. Polar Bound and Eaton Square hold stride, and Vettel's also prominent early on, black sleeves and cap. Top sellers moving around them, White Line Fever. Jackson, those blue sleeves and cap, just looking to slot in, head in the air for a stride or two, but he's only 2.5 lengths off them. Then comes Chesalon, around runners and trying to improve his striders, Pomodora, Tales of Bravery. Castlethorpe's very deep in the early stages. They race about 10-11 lengths off the leader. Gold Onyx is further back with Solar Traveller. They come back into view and go past the 1400-meter marker. And Top Seller finds the lead, leads up by 1.5 lengths. Vettel second. I can tell you, Jackson is now scraping paint at the rail. Pomodora, Beach Beauty. Then comes Polar Bound and races about 8 or 9 lengths off the tempo. Eaton Square, Smungy next call. Royal Bencher. Gold Onyx, Solar Traveller, Sage Throne gets a mention. English Gardens, 14 lengths off them. Ella Bella, 16 to make up. Gorangosa, Pierre Jourdan. Top Seller from Vettel, who's closer. Pomodora. Jackson's hard against the steel back and forth, just 4 lengths to make up. Beach Beauty looks to get a length closer. Then comes Polar Bound and Smanji Manji next call. White Line Fever. Tales of Bravery ran into a bit of traffic problems there. Gold Onyx. Ella Bella makes her move. English Garden. Homeward Bound. Top Seller. Vettel's towards the inside. Looking to run on now. Pomodora. Jackson hooks out 3 lengths to make up. Chesalon hooks extreme outside. Smanji Manji. Jackson still got 2.5 to make up. White Line Fever's running on. Pomodora. Chesalon up the centre outside is now getting into full cry. And also running on is Eaton Square. Smanji Manji. Down the inside. Vettel. Pomodora. Smanji Manji and Pomodora. Here comes the line. Very close. Maybe Smanji Manji in a photo with Pomodora. But it gets very, very close. Not going to decide here. Pomodora with the red cap up the inside, and right there is Smanji Manji, an absolute thriller going to the line.
Well, there you go, 2012, a mere 2 years ago, and it's very interesting that this horse won the race and is now borderline.
Yeah, it's tough to, you know, a lot of horses who've gone and won the Vodacom July have struggled afterwards. I don't know what it is. Maybe it just takes so much out of you. If one goes through the first 4, 5, 6 horses there, they haven't gone on to cover themselves in glory in the next 2 years. So, but Pomodoro is showing little sparks of form.
What interests me is that Champions Challenge, you know, the big race at the end of April in Johannesburg, which is a grade 1. He ran 3rd in it.
Yeah.
Rotterdam 4th was Wiley Hall. Wiley Hall's 12th on the list. He's 18th on the list. And interesting, that horse Talina, I think he ran 2nd in it. He's 8th on the list, okay?
Yeah. It's, you know, I was just looking at it yesterday. I actually was speaking to Graham Hawkins, and I said, "Geez, you've got a thankless job." I saw Matthew Lips. I said the same thing to him. It's a thankless job trying to. Then I saw Roy Moodley and Alesh Naidu. They are on the fence with their runners, hoping beyond hope that they get a run. Everyone wants to get into this race. What has helped, James, is the horses going into quarantine, the horses going for other races, and the horses that have had to come out for injury.
Sure.
So it's made it a little bit easier. But the form is a little in and out for some of these horses.
Yeah.
And
You'd think that that horses that are bona fide grade 1 horses over the distance, and the previous winner, and he's shown, you know, he's had 2 mile warm-ups. I think that's what he's had, and he's definitely not at his best over a mile. This horse, I would think, I'm amazed to
you
see
think he's
him.
on the up again?
I think there's the right race for him, and I would think that he'd be the horse to back each way in the race if he got in.
Yeah.
But you know, you've got to wait and see what happens.
Funny enough, as we talk, they're doing the scratchings for the Vodacom Durban July, and Raymond Rogers popped me the 9:10 update, and I'll just run through who has accepted quickly, because it's going to change possibly, but horses that have accepted, and most of these will get in. King of Pain, Cape Town Noir, Talina, these are the ones with jockeys on. Espumanti, Punta Arenas, Royal Zulu Warrior, Legislate, Run For It, Louis the King, Rake's Chestnut, Captain America, In the Fast Lane, and Futura. Those are the ones that have accepted so far. There's a lot to come. It's still early, another hour and a half. And of those that I mentioned, there's 1 or 2 who've got to be on the borderline.
Absolutely. Well, when you look at the list, you've got Captain America. He's 15th on the list. White Line Fever and Halve the Deficit, both Tarry runners. I would have thought Pomodoro is better than both those horses. I think he's definitely proved that he's better than both of them. Punta Arenas, he's 13th on the list.
The form's so upside down, you know. I was looking at like cherry on the top.
Yeah.
You know, lost its way a bit. Came back and won a very good race, beating Espumanti in a Group 2. But as Roy said, it ran in the same time twice against his horse, and his horse thumped it twice. And then I said, they've freshened up. Old Man Faraz freshened up. It's had 2 good comeback runs, cherry on the top, showing it's going about it the right way. You know, Punta Arenas ran 3rd in the Met. Yeah. These are good qualifications. Yeah. I'm talking about borderline horses.
Well, you talk about grade 1 horses. You've got to talk about group horses, Group 1 horses. And when you talk about proper Group 1 horses, horses that have won a Group 1.
James, is the rule, this is interesting, and I'm talking from a guessing position here. Running 4th in a Group 1, would that outstrip a winner in a Group 2?
I would have thought so.
So even though the Champions Cup up in Joburg wasn't a big field.
Yeah.
You know, the Talinas, the Wiley Halls, the horses you've mentioned, the Pomodoros, they all ran places in the Group 1. And then you'd have a horse like, let's use a Group 2 winner. Espumanti's a Group 2 winner. Yeah. I would have thought Espumanti would be straight in.
Yeah. Well, it looks like she's going to get straight in.
Where's she in the log?
You know, Rake's Chestnut ran second, SP Monty's 10th. Rake's Chestnut ran second in the Daily News, 2000.
The one-time winner, yeah.
Group 1, okay?
Yeah.
He ran second in the Group
Great
1, and
run.
he's straight in. He's up there at the top.
Absolutely.
You
Very
know, so
unfortunate not to win.
which is a better race, the Daily News 2000 or the Champions Cup in Johannesburg, you know?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I know last year they had a bigger chance to get more horses in with a 20-horse field, but the Daily News, which was a great finish, the top 4 came forward into the race. Vercingetorix went overseas. No Worries ran in the July and placed. Wiley Hall ran close up, didn't place in the July. And Cape Town didn't go for the July. But the horse who's been a length and 5th, Rock Cocktail, never got an invite. And horses like Gothic, Wild One, who had run well in the Derby up in Joburg, got in. So you've got to work out what your yardstick. I think Graham and his gang are trying to get it that they have races that sort of feed you in ahead of others.
Yeah, I think that the criteria has got to be the best horses. And really, when you look at the best horses here, over the course and distance, you know, White Line Fever, to me, he's had many cracks at this type of trip, and he's never shown that he goes this trip. You know,
I think if you ask Terry, he'd probably want Pomodoro.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm guessing here,
you know,
absolutely.
The interesting ones are, well, Futura's next 5 in alphabetical order, so he's not even close to being in at this stage on this list. Okay.
Do you know that there is a scenario that a lot of people don't know about? It's called the wild card scenario.
Yeah,
the wild card scenario came about for a very good reason, that the stewards or the board or the panel could have some say into the final field, but it was mainly put in place if an international horse arrived on the scene that had never raced here. If Sheikh Mohammed decided to send a horse for the Vodacom Durban July, who had a mirror rating of 130 or whatever, champion, you can't say, well, listen, that's where you need your
well, the point is, if he sent a horse that had a rating of 100,
yes.
Okay, international rating of 100, and you want it in the race, because what is it all about? It's about betting turnover.
Yeah.
Now, some of the, if you put in Pomodoro, you put in, I'm not going to pick out a horse, but say he's going to attract more betting turnover than most of the horses will. Bring a previous winner and a horse, that, you know, talking horse.
James, it's a thankless task. Eh?
Oh, it's impossible.
It's
I've looked at this lot, and to try and work out the last 4 is very difficult. I think the top 12 will speak for themselves, but the last 4 are very, very difficult indeed. There are all these borderline
One last question
horses.
I'm going to throw at you. If you, let's use a horse like Talina, who's run 2nd in the Group 1, 3rd in the Group 1. You know, unfortunate not to get in last year because it ran 4th in the Derby when it might not have stayed the trip, but had been runner-up in the Group 1 in the Classic. Now, this horse, Talina, ran 2nd in the Group 1 and a 3rd in the Group 1, but then it went into a prep race for this, the Jubilee, and ran unplaced. Now, does it get to the situation where guys says, well, listen, I've qualified, I'm not going to run again? Do we want that?
Well, no, that's the whole point. That is exactly the point I bring up with Pomodoro. I think he ran 3rd in the Group 1 in Johannesburg. He's had 2 prep races for the July, and he's down at 17th, 18th on the list.
Yeah.
Now, to me, a previous July winner who's got proven form over this type of course and distance, you know, he's having prep runs. You've got to give a horse a prep. Talina's exactly the same.
Yeah.
He ran 2nd in the Group 1 in Johannesburg. Pomodoro ran 3rd.
Yeah.
They should get into this race as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And I would believe that they've got to get into a race in front of a horse like Rake's Chestnut, who has flashed up and run 2nd in a Grade 1. Before that, his form wasn't that great. You know, he got beaten at the bar.
The yardstick of our racing has to be merit rating.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that's where some of the people are arguing, listen, I've got 107 horses, 102, 104 getting ahead of me because I blotted my copybook a month ago. So I haven't the answers. I don't think James has got the answers, but tomorrow is the official announcement of the field, and that should be great.
Well, it will be very interesting, and I'm certainly very glad I don't sit on that panel, because whatever happens, there are going to be mumbles and groans and you name it. And at the end of the day, as Paul says, it's a completely thankless task. We'll ask Wesley Bowman later on what he thinks, because he's one of those fonts of information, doyen of the young
doyen of 3A,
of the new breed of racing punters. He knows his punting business.
He's the voice of 3A.
Yeah, the voice of 3A. But he's now the voice of the Thoroughbred Breeders Association as well, which is going to be very interesting.
James, got to give him the gears.
Well, the thing is that he's a good punter.
Yeah.
Okay. He's a great analyst.
Yeah.
He knows now. Let's see what he knows about pedigrees.
Yeah, breeding.
That's where we now go.
Pedigrees, confirmation. Ask him to pick one for us to buy.
Yeah, no, that's right. Good idea, because I see they picked a couple of good ones.
Yeah.
Yes, they had a one-time winner. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on and go and have a look at the plum of the week.
inside Marsh Lady. Red Flame's going to go through in the centre of the track. West End is towards the outside, then Luna Victoria. It's now Red Flame who comes to Admiral's Eye as they get to the 300 metre marker. West End Jet Set Model, but Red Flame now hits the front at the 200, travelling like a winner. And Red Flame is going on. Admiral's Eye is going to fight back. Red Flame's the leader. Admiral's Eye comes back for more, but Red Flame won it by a neck. Admiral's Eye second, maybe Latasha third, then Luna Victoria.
Well, Red Flame, Brussels filly, we put her on 3 to follow after her last run. We made her 1 to follow. She backed in from 11 to 1, 11 to 2 to 3 to 1. You could have got 4 to 1 and 9 to 2 on Interbet, as much as you like.
I made it a good thing.
She was an absolute blinder in the race. Well done to Neil Bruss. He's been here for a bit of time and produced a couple. And those that backed it and followed the show would have been in the business. Right, let's go and have a look at current affairs.
Want to get the best odds on horse racing and sporting events? For every bet requested, we review all the bookmakers and select the one with the best odds. As a result, you always get the best odds. Interbet offers tote betting, fixed odd multiples, and betting with your mobile phone. To get started, all you need to do is register by filling in your personal information. Log into your account and start wagering.
Right, welcome to Current Affairs. Again, this week, no big racing around the country. We're preparing up for the next 2 weeks. As you know, the Vodacom Durban July is the cream de la creme when it comes to the races in this province, this town, and probably this continent. James, but there's been a bit of news. Royal Ascot obviously was great for the people, the purists who love to watch that type of racing.
Yeah, very disappointing for us first up. You know, we thought we might win the King's Stand this year and avenge our defeat last year with Shay Shay. No type of race, obviously it's not right. And soft falling rain had an interrupted preparation.
Ran well.
Ran a very good race. Around 4 lengths of Toronado is a very, very good run. But the Royal Ascot is still one of those, iconic race meetings.
Yeah.
And the standout for me of Royal Ascot is Eddie Lynham, that little Irish trainer.
Yeah.
They say he's got 100 horses, which is a small string. And he had Soul Power and Slade Power. They won the King's Stand Stakes and the Golden Jubilee. And he had another winner. A very amazing feat when you think Michael Stott was the top trainer with 4 winners.
That's all.
This Eddie Lynham had 3.
James, I'm just looking at how you were underbidder in Australia and the Star Spangled Banner. What a good meeting they had.
Yeah, very good.
Star Spangled were outstanding, authorised outstanding. So you nearly lurked a good one there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's interesting that Dutch Art had 3 winners at the festival, all sprinters. So he's a sprint stallion.
New sprint
and then Monjeur had 2 winners at the meeting over staying distance, and he won the Gold Cup with Leading Light. O'Brien's 6th Gold Cup winner. And then Bracelet won the Riversdale.
Yeah.
So,
and you know, he's the sire of authorised. There 2 winners at the meeting as well. So Monjeur's like Galileo, a great influence of stamina.
Very interesting to Australia, just talking about it. You could buy these horses that stay for no money at all.
Yeah.
When they buy staying stallions there, they are absolutely not interesting. You know, they're authorised.
What a good stallion.
Not popular at all.
Yeah, it's had 3 Group 1 winners now.
Yeah. The other 2 standouts, well, Kingman winning the...
He beat the horse who beat him, and he beat him well.
Palace, yeah, and then the Fugue, for her to come back was just fantastic.
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber, is that? Yeah.
Leading jockey, Ryan Moore.
Ryan Moore won it, eh?
And from the statistics, the English don't talk about betting turnovers. It's not infra-dig to talk about betting turnovers, You just talk about attendance.
Yeah.
So the attendance was up 2.3% from last year, which was absolutely marvellous as far as we were concerned, because, we tried to drop our numbers by 4%, so it was very, very good.
There was, I saw some very good photos. Liesl King had posted some excellent photos. Well done to Liesl King, they were outstanding. I know our good friend William of Wembley, Bill Lambert was there, Des Scott, and a few people made the coaches, and I think there was a South African influence on the Queen's coach parade, wasn't there?
Well, Mike de Kock got invited to the Queen's box.
That's fantastic.
After his disappointment on the Monday, she invited him up to the box to chat to him about racing, and he said it was, for a boy from Alberton.
Yeah, boy from
he really made it big to
and he beat the Queen, eh?
Which is fantastic, but she is
did
great
Did he curtsy?
No, he bowed.
Did he bow?
Curtsy
Well
if
done
you're
to
a
Michael.
woman. If you're a woman, you curtsy.
Well, I just wondered, you know.
And he probably said, "How's it, ma'am?"
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Royal Ascot, another great success.
Yeah, absolutely
I
fantastic.
saw just one other thing. You know who else went to it was Craig and Amanda Carey went to it. And they posted some photos too. It just looked like an absolute ball.
Well, just getting back to Liesl King, she spent a bit of time in the Silver Ring. She wrote a very good article in Thoroughbred Daily News, TDN. She does pictures for them and articles for them. And it was an interesting article. She said the Silver Ring's actually quite fun.
It is.
And that's a pretty
The
good
bandstand
Liesl King in the Silver Ring. She'd be Miss World there.
But it's the bandstand. That's gets after the race meeting, the band plays all the old favourites.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So it's come and gone. It's been a great success again. That's Royal Ascot. What else you got, James?
Super Sale, Thursday, Michael Holmes. Every year this time of the year, Super Sale here at Greyville in the parade ring. You can buy some of the Cock and Euster and a whole lot of those bunch of the big owners' horses that are wanting to move on. They can't just keep on keeping horses. They get rid of them.
Yeah, and they leave a lot of good horses at the sale. There's a lot of meat on the bone. Some people have bought good horses that have gone on to do well. So it's a very good idea if you want to get a horse that's got an international pedigree that you might think needs a bit of time or might do well with you.
Well, the two standouts would be Viva La Var and Elici, who won the Derby trial.
Elici's Larateo. Yeah, Elici was beautifully bred horse.
Yeah, and then there's Solomeo, well-bred horse.
Yeah,
there's always something for someone there.
I think it's a good sell. Obviously, they have it in the parade ring again after the gallops.
Yeah, after the gallops here on Thursday. We've got the gallops on Thursday morning.
That's very
sticky
interesting.
buns and hot coffee.
Hot coffee, sticky buns.
You and Shay on the panel. We got the two of you.
Yeah,
on the panel?
this year I always do the crossovers with Sheldon. We talk about the gallops. This year, Felix Coetzee is coming to join me.
Oh, good.
He can talk about a few things that'll be interesting to the public out there. Then the panel, we host a panel. They're moving the venue. Raymond Rogers was telling me they're moving the venue of the panel. And it'll be a better sound system. People in the view room who've had breakfast there will be able to watch on the telly if they don't want to come down. It's right at the winner's circle.
Oh, good. That's excellent. I think that's a great innovation because, Raymond Spielberg Rogers obviously saw the problems that we had last year, with
Spielberg saw that,
yeah.
Will the Sangoma be there, Chuck and Bonesy?
What a question. You can't.
He hasn't been right once.
He's going to find the winner. He finds the winner every year.
Not
every year he finds the winner.
Yeah, that's what he tells them.
Every year. You're just not reading in between the lines.
Well, they give me the wrong names.
The bones. You've got to read between the lines. Okay.
Chuck and Bonesy, he's got to get rid of the chicken bones and get some proper bones. Yeah. Because every time Chuck and Bonesy smokes the stuff out and throws the bones.
It's the stuff he's smoking. That's
is that what it is? And he says, number 7, and it's 44-1. And the pub write it down, the newspapers write it down. He hasn't been close.
Listen, I don't know. Him and I must be smoking the same stuff. Because we both believe we find the winner every year, and we don't think we're wrong. No. So anyway, now listen, you got to move on. I've got to get in.
Get Bowman in here. He's got to give us one. He's got to find one in the catalogue that we can have a touch on.
One on the catalogue. He's got to give us a winner on July Day. He's got to do a lot of things.
A lot of work for him.
A lot of work for that lighty.
Yeah, you get him on.
Let's move on and chat to Wesley Bowman in York Hall. Right, well, big yearling sales time coming here in KwaZulu-Natal. The Suncoast yearling sales is the 2 days before the July, and it's always a great opportunity to be able to buy a horse. And their representative here in KwaZulu-Natal is none other than Wesley Bowman. You will have seen Wesley on the television now and again. Wes, nice to have you in the studio.
Thanks, James. Great to be here.
Can you just, listen, we only have people here who, are experts in the field. Can you just give us a resume of your tipping over the last month? We just want to know winners, percentage winners, places,
Actually, I had a good run the last month, James. It's been interesting. Some very interesting racing as well. Decent pick six pools, and I think it's all going to come together on July Day.
You caught a few of those pick sixes in the last month that paid $1 million and whatever. I see you looking quite prosperous, so must have.
Yeah, you see, I've been to the hairdresser, done my hair up, got the relevant makeup. So yeah,
listen, you got to get yourself in fine shape to come on this show. You can't just arrive here, like me and Laf. You got to arrive here in good shape. Otherwise,
you weren't too happy with my dress sense yesterday, so I thought I'd just kit myself out today.
No, I'm very pleased. Bloodstock South Africa bought some new shirts. Those old ones were getting a bit tired. Yeah. But anyway, listen. Let's go back a little bit in your history so people know where you come from. You come from a racing family through and through.
My grandfather was a bookmaker, Arthur Bowman. For many years, he was the chairman of the KZN Bookmakers Association. Two of my uncles are currently bookmakers for Marshall's World of Sport.
Are they paying their fee? Because this goes out on Teletrack, eh?
Giving them a bit of airtime. Eh?
Yeah, are they paying their fee to Teletrack?
I hope so. I'm sure. I'm sure they will be. So they're both bookmakers currently, and then as you know, 3A Racing started up 5 or 6 years ago. Our aim is to try and get the youth into racing and try and sort of create a bit of interest in the sport. And I do a bit of part-time work for Teletrack. I'm an independent contractor for them, and I just love my racing, James. This is a hobby for me. It's an interest, and I love it.
And you've had a couple of winners, 3A Racing. I see you boys have been in the winners' circle with a couple of sprinters.
Yeah, we've been quite lucky. We've probably only owned 5 or 6 horses. All of them are winners except for one. Our first horse we owned, Ole, ran a couple of seconds, but then we tasted victory after that. We had Vanilla Twilight, Tricks of the Trade 1-2. We had a horse called Bertha that won its maiden, but unfortunately the jockey didn't weigh in, so that got disqualified. So that should find itself into the winners enclosure soon. And then we've got a decent one now with Glenn Cotson called Electro Shock. It ran second in its maiden attempt behind King Mambo's Legacy. At Scottsville Racecourse, and then unfortunately ran in the gate crasher a few weekends ago, but didn't raise a gallop. But we're looking forward to that one. It's got potential.
Okay, so you got the 3A Racing. We were talking about getting something going in the Palm Court on a Friday night. Did anything come of that?
It still is in talks, James. They're obviously doing a lot of changes at Greyville, and I think with the poly track and everything happening during the season, I think that's sort of just taken a back seat for the time being, which is understandable. But I think we will look at that after the racing season, once they've got through the July and everything, because they've had quite a serious task in making sure these changes came in time for the Durban July or the winter season. There's a lot of exciting things to look forward to. We had an event about a month and a half ago at Greyville in the Classic Room, where we had 240 youngsters like myself. And
I noticed you never invited me this time. Eh? I came for all the beginning ones for no fee, helped you Oaks find winner after winner, and now I get benched. You know what?
Well, it's because you trained me, James. So I took all your advice, and I was able to apply it on the evening. And it was actually it was an amazing event.
They still have Bill Lambert, as a sort of as a senior statesman. I could just cruise around there. I'm very good with young girls, and I'd be an asset to your party. I promise you.
I won't ask for your CV. I think next time I'll just have to make the application and get you on board.
Yeah, make the application. Okay, let's move on and chat about Bloodstock South Africa. What is your role with them? Because we do have the sale coming up, and we're going to chat about that now.
The BSA approached me, and they're just basically looking for someone to promote their KZN sale, which takes place on the Thursday and the Friday prior to the July. That's the 3rd and the 4th of July, if I stand to be corrected. Yeah, so I've just been on the ground chatting to trainers, getting their opinion of the makeup of the catalogue. Are they interested? Are they going? Are they buying? Are they active? What lots are they looking at? And then really just trying to create up some sort of stir for that sale, as well as chatting about the R1 million race that the horses, when you tick the box, will obviously qualify for that race that's run on July Day.
Yeah, well, that race is coming up this year. So it was an innovation that's started last year, and it's going to be quite an interesting race. I hope I got one in there as well. Bought a couple of cheapies and might end up sneaking one in under the radar. But it's certainly innovative as far as the sales concerned. You've had a look at this catalogue. Can we just show? Let me just show them the catalogue. That's it. That's one of those. Not you. That cameraman. Let's see if we can get it up there. Then the Suncoast National Yearling Sales Catalogue, and gee, my girlfriend's sitting on a chair there. Unbelievable. 3rd and 4th of July, you want to get down there because it's always a great sale. And funnily enough, on the Thursday night, they have the comedy evening at Elangeni Hotel, Phil Giorgio's comedy evening. There are a few tables still available in that. So if you want to go to the comedy evening as well, in between the sale, have a laugh after you spent your cash, you'd be most welcome.
And James, it really is a great week. I mean, it's a great concept to have the sale the Thursday and the Friday before the July. All the trainers are there with a couple of the owners, sussing out a few yearlings and having a few beers, chatting about the July. And it all just builds up. And then, July Day arrives and you've got the R1 million race. And what a lovely story. A horse that won the race last year, Ace Antonius. The reason I use this as an example is that horse was purchased for 40,000 Rand. It was... it ran in the R1 million race and ended up winning the race. Now, there's not many horses that you can go and buy, have the opportunity to buy for 40,000 Rand, and only a year later, your horse has earned over R1 million already. So that's where I think they're going with this whole R1 million race. The sale is promoted as a value sale. You really can get some diamonds in the rough there.
Oh yeah, I think that you're certainly not getting National One's quality, but you're not paying National One prices. And there's some pretty good stallions on the sale. Have you got any ideas there what we should be looking at to try and win this race next year?
Well, it's quite hard because it depends on the horse, whether it'll be ready, because it comes quite soon after that. You have to get your horses into racing and get them ready quite quickly. Because obviously being the beginning of July, the 2-year-olds, when they turn 2, they don't have that much time to get ready for the race. But if you are ready, you're obviously in for a humdinger. And that horse of Dennis Dryers, I haven't had a try, I haven't seen Dennis at racing, but he's got that horse Beckerdorf that obviously has the credentials. It's got some decent form. It won its maiden by 5 lengths, and I think 1,300 meters will be right up its alley. I think that's a big contender for the race on July Day, if they do decide to go that route.
Well, they've got that, or they've got the other race, which is the Golden Horse.
Sure.
And there are just so many opportunities. But this is a specific race for horses that come off the sale. What happens when you tick the box? Give us a bit of feedback.
Well, basically, when you're filling out your application, all you have to do, there's 2 boxes that you could tick. There's one to qualify for the R1 million race on July Day, so you tick that, and I think they charge you 1,500 Rand, excluding VAT, on ticking that box. And then there's the value-added stakes incentive that the BSA have put together. I'm sure everyone's pretty much aware of that because that's been around for a while.
Yeah, they've got 7.5 million Rand and about a whole lot, over 20 races.
Yes, over your grade 1, 2, 3, and a couple of listed events. So that's 7.5 million Rand, and that's another box that you can tick. So there's those 2 boxes that you can tick. And I think the second box is 2,500 Rand, excluding that.
Yeah, and that just includes you in a myriad of races. But interesting, some of the stallions that are appearing on the sale. There's some good stallions.
Yeah, I was also having a look at it. First year and second year sires, as well as foreign sires, the 22 sires make up that list. So there is going to be the opportunity to pick up something that's not well known, that you could pick up for a steal of a price.
What do you think you have to pay for a nice horse, sir?
Well, looking at the averages, 2 years ago, I think the average was 68,000, 65,000, around there. Last year, it went up to 88,000. I think the sale is growing itself. The catalogues are improving. I think last year was a really strong catalogue. And this year, I think, is a really decent catalogue. So you're looking, I mean, you can pick up a decent one for anywhere between 50 and 100,000. So you're not paying a hell of a lot for something that, like I said, Ace Antonius's case, and that's obviously just one that can earn you over $1 million.
What is the best horse that came off last year's sale? Is there anything worth him buying?
That's a bit of a tough question.
I knew I'd catch you.
Yeah.
How about Louis the King?
Louis the King 2 years ago cost 55,000 Rand, Louis the King, and that's earned over 5 million.
Yeah.
So like I said, diamond in the rough, there's the opportunity. You can pick them and you can buy them.
Well, you know what the best horse that came off last year's sale was?
You're going to say one of yours?
No, Beckendorf.
Yeah.
You think it's a top-rated horse for the race that's coming up?
But a lot of them haven't run. That's
Yeah.
the key there. A lot of them haven't run yet. It would be quite nice if they also at some point introduced also a 3-year-old race for increased stakes off the sale.
Well, I think that these type of races are specifically made for a horse that you trying to buy to win that type of race. And I think that that's the key, is you've got to buy something that looks like it's going to come to hand early and get 1,300 meters. That's the problem. Is a horse that's going to come to hand early might not get the 1,300 meters. As we saw, Jimmy Choo was probably the best horse that went into last year's race, but he patently didn't get that far. And he was a winner everywhere but where it counted, So it just shows you how you got to maneuver and how you got to think about how you go about purchasing horses from the sale to win this type of race. Any other plans that you guys have got? Can we get a free lunch if we get a buyer's card?
I'm not sure, James. If you're looking for a free lunch, then last year that was the situation. I think there were lots of free lunches out there, and I saw you in the queue. Actually went there 2 or 3 times. So.
I've been in the queue 2 or 3 times every day because listen, I'm a big guy. I've got to fill the frame.
Got to fill. You can have my lunch, as you can see. I don't really need much to feed me. But another point I was going to touch on: even if you don't have the chance to get your horse ready for that R1 million race, being a KZN sale, there's lots of KZN bred horses on the sale, and obviously next weekend we're having the KZN Breeders' Day. And all the horses that are KZN bred will qualify for those races. And that's another incentive to buy at the sale.
Absolutely. What they do is they put in a black and white sticker, KZN bred, on the horse's backside, so you know that horse qualifies then for this big KwaZulu-Natal Breeders' Day, which is on Saturday the 29th at Clearwood. And it's a big day, very, very nice day. So it's a marvelous opportunity, and I think it's a great sale. And obviously, you guys, Bloodstock South Africa, are great friends of ours, and we love being able to attend sales like this. And I think they put on a tremendous show.
It's great. I attended it last year actually for the first time, and I went the first day and ended up staying the whole day, and then I went the second day, and I was taken back.
Have you boys got a bit of money together to buy a horse or two?
We might be trying to sneak 1 or 2, and I thought you were going to ask me which ones we'd be looking at, but I've picked out 2, but I don't think our budget would quite be able to afford them.
I suppose a Black Manaloosh and something like that.
One's a horse chestnut.
Horse chestnut, I was going to say.
And the other's an Ideal World.
Ideal World.
Yeah. So there's quite a few Ideal Worlds on the sale. I think that's going to attract a bit of attention.
Yeah, I think, listen, it's just a great sale, and it's going to be great fun. Now, let's move on from the sale. Obviously, after the sale comes the Vodacom Durban July. How do you see it?
It's quite difficult, obviously, with the final field being announced tomorrow. That's going to be quite interesting. You and Paul obviously alluded to the fact of who are the last 4 that are going to get in, and I'm just a little bit worried you start asking for my opinion on that, because that is not an easy task at all.
Well, what is your opinion? You've got to have an opinion.
Well, it depends who we're talking about, which horses we are talking about. But Paul made a very good point, and you've got to go on merit rating and current form. You've got to set a yardstick. I think that's the difficult part to get right to keep everybody happy.
So, okay, Astro News is merit rated, let's say Rio Carnival's merit rated 112 and Pomodoro's rated 107. Which horse would you put in?
I would put in Pomodoro.
Well, you can't go on merit ratings then.
No, you also got to go on current form. And there's so many variables. It is a difficult one.
That's why it's such a problem.
I'm glad I'm not part of the panel, put it that way. That is such a difficult job, and really I take my hats off to them, because you know, some people are going to be happy and some people are going to be disappointed. You're never going to keep everybody happy. But yeah, Pomodoro, I mean, it won the July 2 years ago. And it's quite difficult to say that a horse that has won the race before can't get into the race again.
Anything that you fancy on the card? Now, don't tell me Beach Beauty, because even I know that, okay? But anything on the card that you'd fancy?
I was going to say, James, funny you said that. That's going to be my banker in the pick 6. I'll find another one and possibly take 2 bankers. But the estimated pool for the pick 6 on July Day is set to be around 11-12 million rand. Even
pick 6 pool?
Yes, correct. So there's a couple of carryovers that they've put towards the pool. And the estimated pool is 11 million rand.
That's absolutely amazing.
So I mean, even if your Beach Beauty does win, and you know, coupled with a few other results, you're still going to get a decent payout. So I think the pick 6 on July Day is the bet to be with.
And 3A, you guys got your box full to the brim?
To the brim. The guys are getting really excited, and obviously every year prior to the July, the Thursday before the July, we have our own 3A panel.
Yeah.
We get a couple of beers together and discuss the card in detail, and a couple of our younger mates that want to come.
Can I get invited? I'm not young enough.
I said younger mates there, James. I think you'll be at the comedy evening.
Yeah, the comedy evening on Thursday night. That's exactly right. I've got to do the emceeing. I'll put Barry Hilton on the spot. I'll give him a little thing to think about. Yeah,
You're quite the celebrity, eh?
No, that Barry Hilton, you know, he thinks he's funny. When I'm finished with him,
yeah.
They'll think I'm funny. Yeah. I'm there with him.
Then they'll know, eh? And what do you fancy for the July?
I don't know.
It's quite difficult.
Actually, it is quite an interesting question, that, because on the 3-year-olds, Legislate's got to be the best 3-year-old in the race. He does look like the best horse. When you start talking about the old horses, there is such a mishmash of form amongst the old horses. I know Punta Arenas is a horse I'd love to win the July, because I think those guys that own it, and Stan Ely has been a mate of mine forever, he deserves to win a July. He's a consummate professional, and those owners have stuck with him forever, and they're great owners. They deserve to win a July more than anyone else in this race. So they'll be who I'll be pulling for. Chris Van Niekerk, I'd like to see him win a July 3 years running. I think he's fantastic for the game.
Yeah.
And then you got to look at the rest of them and say, well, who's who in the zoo, and hope for the best. But apart from that, those are the fancies as far as the heart is concerned. But I do think that Legislate might be the right horse.
I think I'm going to sit on the 3-year-old fence. I think that Daily News form, the horses, the top 4 are really, really top contenders in the July this year. I think that was one of the best Daily News races I've seen in many years.
Well, it's going to be a very interesting race meeting. It's going to be an interesting sales. Anything as a last word as far as your Bloodstock South Africa clients are concerned?
Yeah, just try and get down to the sale if you can. Like I said, that's on the 3rd and the 4th. I mean, it's even if you're not looking to buy and you just want to go and experience a sale, it's a great sale. It's a great time of the year around the July time. There's just such a great atmosphere, awesome buzz. So yeah, I would urge people to get down to Suncoast Casino on the 3rd and the 4th and then come and enjoy the sale.
Wesley, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. It's always a pleasure chatting to you. You're a font of information. We love being able to have a little niggle at Wesley, because, you know, when you're going through the learning process and the growing up process, you need to have a couple of old codgers giving you a hard time. And I don't think anyone in his family gives him a hard time, because he looks like a spoiled brat. But the point is, he's got me.
If only you knew, Joe. If only you knew, I get a hard time.
And to be really serious for a moment, these are the guys that are going to carry on the industry and the love of this industry that we've had all these years, and that's fantastic to see. And I can relate to a guy like Wesley Bowman. I know exactly what he's going through, and I hope his growing up years in this industry are as much fun as I've had. And from me and Paul, and to all you racing fans, have a great week's racing. Remember the KwaZulu-Natal Breeders' Race Day on Saturday, and then the big July week.